Hello everyone, I'm Kelsey from Kelsey, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a granny square blanket. So here are some of the squares that I've made so far. The granny square kind of makes these petals and different layers with different colors. So the things you're going to need to make this are yarn. And for colors, it depends on how big you want your blanket to be. For my blanket, I'm going to make 6 squares by 7 squares, and I have 5 colors. But only four of mine are going to be used in the center. You're going to have one color that's always going to be on the edge. Like you can see, all these have gray on the edges, and that's going to be the color that connects them all. So the majority of the blanket is going to be gray, and then you have these spots of color. So depending on how much color you want is how much more yarn you're going to get. So I have green, yellow, red, and white for my colors because those are the colors of my bedroom. You're also going to want some scissors, a yarn needle, and a hook. And my hook is a 5.5 millimeter. You can also, I've used a 6.5 and that works really well too. It just depends on how big or small you want it to be. If you use a 6.5, your squares are going to be bigger and more loose. And I like that because it's more, I feel like it could be more comfortable, more cozy. It like scrunches up a little bit more, has more room. And the 5.5 is more sturdy and small. So it depends on what you want to do. So with that, let's get started. Okay, now you notice for these squares, there are actually 4 layers. There's the center, which is one color. Then there's another layer, a second layer with a different color, and a second layer with the same color. Then you have the 4th layer, which is going to be your base color. So you're going to need more yarn for your base color than you would for any of these. I just have one skeined for each color, and then I repeat it. The yellow is sometimes in the center, sometimes on the outside, but gray is always the border. Same thing with red. Sometimes it's the center, sometimes it's the outside. So it just depends with all of you, however many colors you want. The more colors you want, the less you'll have to repeat the colors that you have. So first we're going to work on making the center. My center is going to be white this time. Now to start off, you're just going to use a slip knot. So the way you do that is you take your yarn and go over your finger. You wrap it around twice so that there are 2 loops on your finger. Take the one on the left, bring it over, and then take the one on the left again and move it over. Then you take your hook and scoot it under the one on the left and pull the yarn. That creates a slip knot. You don't want to pull it too tight. Alright, and the way I hold my yarn to create the right tension is I take my middle finger and my thumb and I hold the tail and I put my finger through the yarn like this, and then I use my hook and move the yarn around just like that, and it makes a nice tension. Now, to start out, we're going to create a center. So you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now to create the ring for the center, you're going to go back around to your first stitch. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. You're going to go to the first one, and you see they create V's, and you're going to go into the top of your first V. So go to the top one, and you're going to yarn over and pull through both. So pull through 1 and then pull through 2. So now you have a ring. Next, you're going to create the little petals. These, you see these, they're 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to call each one of these sections a petal. So to create the first petal, you're going to chain stitch 3, 1, 2, 3. And the way you create the petal is by making 3 double crochets, but for the first petal, your chain stitch of 3 is going to act as your first double crochet. Next, you're going to go through the center, and you kind of have to pull it apart to see it. But you pull it like this, and you see this right here. That's the center, where my finger is pointing through. That's the center. So to create your double crochet, you're going to yarn over, go through the center, yarn over again, and pull back through so that you have 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2 more, and that's how you create a double crochet stitch. And you see how your chain stitch of 3 creates another line, and it looks like your double crochet. So you're going to do that one more time. So yarn over, go through the center, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And that is your first petal. And then to create your second one, you're going to create a chain stitch of 2, and you're going to go ahead and make your second one. So the chain stitch of 2 is just the separating them. So you yarn over, go through the center. You see your center becomes a little bit more obvious once you have these loops going through it. So you yarn over, go through your center, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And that's just the basic double crochet. You're going to do that 3 times. There's 2. And there's the third one. So you see you have this petal, then a break, then another petal. So you're going to do that a total of 4 times. So right now we have to do it 2 more times. So chain stitch 2, then you're going to double crochet. And as you do this, your tail, you're going to kind of bury your tail. So the tail kind of drapes along the ring, and as you do it, you just kind of loop it in like this. You just pull it around so it's stuck in the loops down there. So now you have 3 petals and 2 corners. Then you chain stitch another 2 and go back in and make 3 more double crochets. Keep going through the center. Okay, so now we have all 4 petals and 3 corners. To create the last corner, we're just going to chain stitch 2. And right here you can count up the stitches because they look like V's. So you count 1, 2, and 3. And what you're going to do is both V's, so you stick your hook through that stitch so that you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through that stitch and the yarn that was on your hook, and then you have finished it. Now I learned a really cool way of ending and starting ending your thread, your yarn, and then starting a new color. So what you're going to do is take your scissors and cut off a decent sized tail, because we're going to bury these later and you don't want it to be too short, otherwise it's hard to bury. So have it around this size. Take your tail and move like you're about to create a chain stitch, but pull it all the way through and then tighten it, and that creates a nice solid knot, and you can see your 4 petals and your 4 corners. Okay. Now we're going to make our second layer, and this entire process is a series of repeats. Chain stitching, double crochet, chain stitching, double crochet. So it's very easy to learn once you get the hang of it. So now to start a new color, you're going to find one of the corners. It doesn't matter which one, but get one of the corners. Put your hook through. Get your new color. I'm going to use yellow, and drape it over the hook so that you have, and you're going to grab your tail and the yarn and pull it through. Now you're going to create a stitch, act like the tail is part of the yarn, and create a stitch with the tail in it, like that, and that secures the tail in place. Then you're going to drop the tail and create 2 more stitches. And just like the first, when we first started the center, this is going to act as the first double crochet. So then you do the same thing, do 2 more double crochets through that corner. And then to make it round into a corner, you're going to chain stitch 2, then going into the same hole that you've just gone into, you're going to create 3 more double crochets to go into the same one, and double crochet 3 times. And you can see going into the same hole kind of rounds it so it makes itself into a corner. Then to go into the next corner, you're going to chain stitch 1, just 1, yarn over, and go into the next corner and do 3 double crochets. Now, just like we did last time, chain stitch 2, yarn over, go into the same corner, and double crochet 3 times. Now you're just going to keep on going, doing the same thing. Chain stitch 1, yarn over, go through next corner, double crochet 3, chain stitch 2, yarn over, go through the same corner, double crochet 3, chain stitch 1, yarn over, go through the next corner, double crochet 3, chain stitch 2. As you can see, this is coming along quite nicely, making the corners. Yarn over, go through this same hole, double crochet 3, all right, now to end it, you're just going to end it the same way by chain stitching 1, then count up 3 stitches, then take the whole stitch, yarn over, and pull through. Snip a decent sized tail, not too long but not too short. Go like you're about to make a chain stitch, but pull the tail all the way through and pull it tight. And you have just made your first layer. Okay, now to create the second yellow layer, you're just going to do the same thing, put your hook through the corner, kind of drape the yarn over, pull it through, create a stitch using the tail and the yarn together, drop the tail, and do 2 more stitches. Then do 2 more double crochets into that corner. Chain stitch 2, yarn over, go into the same corner, and double crochet 3. This again creates the corner. And your tail can get mixed up. It's kind of hard, but you have to keep it separate. Now the thing that is different about this layer than the other 2 is that not only do you have corners, but you also have holes, which are directly above these petals. You have holes, so I'm going to call these corners and these holes. So to do the hole, you chain stitch 1, yarn over, go into the hole, and double crochet 3. Then you're going to chain stitch 1, yarn over, and go into the next corner. Double crochet 3, chain stitch 2, yarn over, go into the same corner, double crochet 3, and you're just going to keep going with that single stitch, then go into the hole, do 3 double crochets, chain stitch 1, and go into the next corner and do 3 more double crochets, and just do that whole process. Keep doing that whole process over again. Then once you have all of that done, to end it, you just do the same thing as you have done before. Find 3 or 4 stitches up, go through the stitch, yarn over and pull through both of those. Oops. Cut a tail. Then go as you're about to make a stitch, pull it all the way through, tighten it, and there is your 3rd layer. Okay, so now those 2 are just any 2 fun colors you wanted. You don't have to do these my colors. Just choose whatever colors you want. This last one is your base color. It's going to be the 4th layer for each of your squares. So like I said, mine is gray. So we just basically do the whole thing all over again. You go through your corner, pull through your yarn, stitch with both the yarn and the tail, drop the tail, and stitch 2 more. So you have a chain stitch of 3. Yarn over, go through that corner, and make 2 more double crochets, and that chain stitch of 3 acts as your 3rd double crochet. Chain stitch 2, yarn over, go into the same hole, double crochet 3, and this layer is also a little different. It has 2 holes instead of 1, but you just do the same thing where you go chain stitch 1, yarn over, go through the hole, do 3 double crochets, chain stitch another 1, yarn over, go through the next hole, chain stitch 3, then or double crochet 3, then chain stitch 1, yarn over, go through the next corner, double crochet 3, chain stitch 2, and there's your first row on your 4th layer, and you just repeat that process all the way around the square. Okay, now just to end it, you end it the same way by chain stitching 1. You're going to find the stitch, go through the stitch, yarn over and pull through both, cut off the tail, yarn over and pull all the way through, tighten it, and there you go. There is your granny square, and a little later I will show you guys how to hide the tails.